Welcome back to my channel where I basically explore my own consciousness, my own relationship with the universe, and then I share the good bits with you. I'm in that's Monte Carlo, by the way. That's where we are right now. Monte Carlo at sunset. It is stunning, and I've got a cracking view of the casino up there, the Casino Royale. So I thought I'd do some, I was planning on doing some sigils anyway, but then I thought, well, I'll do it here because, you know, I am in the presence of a great temple of luck. And good luck at that. And I'm in the presence of massive money. So here's a good place to be doing some abundance type magic, which is what I'm going to do now. If you like that sort of thing, hit subscribe and hit like, because there's more of it coming. Magic's just a way of relating with, we're all sitting here in the universe, are we not? You are sitting over there in your own personal reality. I'm sitting here in mine, dictated by our circumstances and our nervous systems and how our nervous systems interpret those circumstances and the responses to them. And magic is just a way of taking conscious control of that process, if you like. And a great way to do that is Sigil Magick, which is a reason an awful lot of followers are here, because that was one of my videos that went massive. Now, this is not a tutorial on sigil stuff by any stretch, because there's plenty of those out there, and I've talked about it a lot. You can find that stuff. I'm just going to share what I do, or what I'm doing today, because that varies too, depending on where I am. First things first, if I was starting out in Sigil Magick right now, the first thing I'd do, I got introduced to this concept through the Grant Morrison Disinfo lecture about, I don't know, whenever it was, he did that 25 years ago, Christ. No, it would be 25 years ago, more. Oh my God, I'm old. But that's where I first heard of this subject, where I first heard the technique described to me, and when I first started practicing it. That and the Invisibles comic book was coming out at the time. I was a massive fan of that and still am. Have I mentioned? But it's such an easy little process. I used to overcomplicate it. Now it's very, very simple. This is my sigil notebook. I carry this around the world with me. No, you can't see inside it because I've got sigils in here. I don't want you seeing my secret business, what I'm going for. But design them in here. This is a blank sketchbook. I carry this with me at all times. And I use this pen. Now, why do I use this pen? Well, I'll tell you. It doesn't matter what pen you use. You can just get one from, that's all you need. Bit of paper and a pen and you can do this. But this particular pen, a very good occultist friend of mine, Seth, taught me a ritual from Sigil Magick called Liber Reguli, which I've been doing on the regular ever since. I've been doing it on the reguli ever since. Very, very empowering ritual. Not a beginner's one. If you're just starting out, not a beginner's one, but an intermediate one, I guess. And it's given me some great benefit in my life. It's helped me attune my consciousness in a more powerful direction. But part of reguli is you need a wand. And I was doing this on a cruise ship. I was away working. I had no wand. But anything can be a wand. Some people use a cigarette lighter for a wand. I use this. This is a pen from the cruise line. This was my wand that I used in that ritual. You use it to describe various shapes in the air to affect your consciousness. And I don't know if it's just my nervous system has gotten used, is playing a trick on me, or whether there actually is some energy. But this pen feels magical to me now. It's had a current put through it. Whether that's just a psychological trick I'm playing on myself or actuality, I don't know. All I know is I feel good when I use it. So this is the pen that I reserve and use to make my sigils. There's plenty of sigil tutorials out there, by the way. Have a Google and you'll find one if you don't know how to do it already. Or make the request and I'll make one for you. So I designed my sigils, and as we're in a very abundant ambience and I'm feeling the spirit of abundance, and because of that casino, the spirit of luck, I'm doing some sigils for some projects that I have coming up to nudge the probabilities in the right direction. These things work best to sort of enhance your luck rather than going for something that's utterly impossible. Not saying that can't work, but in my experience, they work best at nudging luck in your favor, And again, whether that's psychological or whether I'm actually talking to the universe, that's up to you to decide. I've got my own take on it. The expert on sigils, the go-to guy, and you have to, regardless, if you're interested in this line of inquiry, he is the best in the world at it. His name is Gordon White, and you'll find an excellent chapter, an incredible chapter on it in his book, The Chaos Protocols. And he's also got a course on his Rune Soup website. Go and check that out, well worth it. And if you're familiar with Gordon White and anything I say contradicts anything he says, he's right. Okay, 100%, he's right. There's no one knows more about this in the world than him. But he has his own ways of doing it, these processes and rituals that he employs. Now, I came to him quite late. I was well on the road of my own personal journey when I read his stuff, so I've got my own way of doing it, and I tend to do a sort of to activate my sigils. He invokes saints and gods, and I'm just too old, and I'm aware of these things. It's just that I'm too set in my ways now. So when I do it, I come at it from a more non-dual angle, a more Taoist angle. My background was always in Taoism. That was primary path for the longest time. It informs everything still. I mean, now I don't have a path. All I care about now is my relationship with it, the which of which there is no witcher, the great nothing on which all of this is built, the vibration, the thing, it's it that defies description. The Tao that can be named is not the Tao, but directly. So, and the practices that I do for sanity and for my own spiritual work come from the more non-dual skills. Kashmir Shaivism is one, but also Huna. I studied Huna in quite a lot of depth, the Hawaiian shamanic system. So when I'm charging a sigil, I normally tend to do it after a little Huna rite, which is more of an energetic model. I won't be demonstrating it on here because I'm not doing it now. Tonight I'm just making my sigils. I tend to make them and then charge them let them sit and then charge them the next day. And I like to do it after I've done my Qigong up on the, here it'll be up on the roof. Beautiful, lovely views. I do Qigong when I feel my energy's in a lovely place, a lovely flow state. My mind is clear, I'm present, there's nothing else going on but this. Not to worry in my head, and I feel charged. That's when I offer these things. I focus on these things, then offer them up to it. I release them to life itself, to the happening. And they go where they go. They go to wherever it is that takes care of these things, and then the synchronicities line up, and I do seem to get a result back from the living of life. It's sort of a way of hacking the simulation, if you like, if that's your metaphor. So many metaphors for this mystery. But if the simulation is your happy, it's a way of hacking that. You can think of it as a little code that you're creating and sending off. This is an unplanned riff, by the way, have you noticed? I remember watching my friend Stephen do magic when he was doing some, enchantment, when he was trying to manifest, nudge the probabilities, make nice things happen. He had a very simple little banishing ritual that he would do to clear the space before he did the magic. And it was literally just with his hand. He'd just describe a spiral, an anti-clockwise one, and then over the left shoulder to clear his head, and then a clockwise one and over his right shoulder to bring in the forces that he was trying to invoke to fuel whatever manifestation he was going to do. One night we went down to Cleopatra's Needle on the Thames. We did a little Taoist spell there for some good fortune, and we used the needle as our launch rocket. We put it into the needle, breathed it, and imagined it firing off into space. It was a fun time, that, I'm telling you. He was a fun guy. God, I miss him. God, I miss him. What a friend to have in life he was. What a teacher, Jesus. So I'm doing these luck sigils because of the location, because I'm feeling the place. I've been sat here looking at this for about half an hour, just sort of meditating on it, releasing, relaxing, breathing the place in, listening, deeply listening. Deep listening is an actual thing. It's not, well, it depends who you've heard talking about it, because there's several teachers use deep listening to describe several different practices and things. What I'm referring to in this instance is kind of receiving the energy of a place, just sitting and relaxing and being with an area, in this case Monte Carlo, and just relaxing into the body, relaxing the breath, and just receiving it, not just the visuals but the vibe, receiving it with your whole body. It's a lovely thing to do anywhere, especially in nature, but this ain't nature. This is a very, very affluent city. I'm looking at private yachts right now, There's money everywhere here. And as I say, the casino, money and luck. So the sigils that I'm creating in this ambience are to those ends. And I'll let you know how I get on with them. There's a few projects coming up that I'm trying to nudge, and every little helps. And just the act of sitting down with your notebook to start creating these things. This is something Gordon said to me when I was hanging out with him in London, but it's true. He would do them on the tube. He'd make his sigils on the tube when he was jetting about. His stories to tell, not mine, but he did say to me, when you start to make it, when you write down the statement of intent and then start to make the sigil, it's almost as if you can see little glimmers, little things coming out of the environment. You start to notice things, basically, because you're tuning your mind in that direction, the direction of what you're writing about. So you start to notice little hints, and little things seem to start winking at you, you know? You almost start to see the pathways forming before you've even made the thing and charged it. Just the act of sitting down to make it starts to incline consciousness in that direction. So even the act of sitting down with my notebook and my pen in this ambience, just starting to do it, I'm starting to see little, all right, ideas are already starting to come to me for actions, pathways. So even if you're not mystically inclined, even if you're just a nervous system person, and you believe in all it is the reticular activating system being turned on, nothing wrong with that. It still seems to work. It gets your mind in the right direction. You'll have ideas that you wouldn't have maybe had otherwise. Or maybe it's all just hokum, but it does make life more interesting when you look at it in a magical way. I mean, you're here. You are here. You're interacting with it. So why not take some conscious control of that interaction? Why not try a silly little sigil spell and see if it works? You've got to do something while you're waiting to die. That's what Stephen would say all the time. My late friend Stephen, the master Taoist, the crazy wisdom guy. And he was crazy, but he'd do some mad little magic thing. He'd do a round of Balgoire, and then he'd throw it out there, and he'd call to the gods, or he'd do something spectacular. And then he'd look at me and go, well, you've got to do something while you're waiting to die.